Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm Tracel Wilt, real estate agent here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and this is the second installment of a conversation that I'm having with Gansmann. She's been talking to us about how to protect your assets and how to do estate planning. So thank you for joining the second session where we're really going to talk about protecting those assets. A lot of my clients that are purchasing their homes want to know what happens if myself or my spouse, both of us pass away. How do we protect that asset? And Kara has been so gracious to provide some of that information for us. Also, so you know, I don't have legal expertise, but Kara definitely does. So I'm going to put her contact information in the notes section below this video. So any of your follow-on questions, feel free to either email or call her office. She'd be happy to help you. So Kara, we were talking a little bit about protecting those assets. What are some things clients can do?
So clients can decide how they want to protect their home. It really comes down to two things, protection and control. Because when you meet with an estate planning attorney, you're not only protecting your assets, you're protecting your family members and entrusting them with their assets. And then you're also able to give a lot of control over who gets your assets, how they get their assets, and when they get their assets. We use a couple of mechanisms. One is a will, another is a trust. We'll take a look at your assets and your objectives to determine which one is appropriate for your needs. And then we'll decide how can we facilitate your estate planning goals with these two mechanisms. And basically, you'll need to think about who's going to inherit. Sometimes certain people shouldn't inherit your assets, and it's all up to you to decide who does inherit your assets. It may be that you have a child who has different needs than other children, or different means than your other children. Or it may be that you want to leave everything to a favorite charity, or it may be that you have a special nephew that you'd like to pass along your assets to, like your home. And so we'll take a look at those goals and objectives. Sometimes if there's a disabled person, it may make more sense to leave a home to a supplemental needs trust for that disabled person. That way they can continue to receive whatever benefits they're entitled to and still inherit from you in a way that's legally acceptable that won't jeopardize their benefits. A lot of times we meet with couples who have children who are now adult age, but they're still young. Maybe they're in college. And when you think about people who parents who both pass away, you probably think that a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old probably isn't in a good shape to inherit a $500,000 home or any of the money that they might inherit from you. Sometimes a trust is a good idea just for that, because 19-year-olds typically aren't familiar with home ownership or the responsibilities that come with home ownership. So that's when we take a look at your assets, we take a look at your objectives. We try and plan not just for your current future or your current needs, but we do look at your future and what could happen in the future.
Will you talk a little bit more about trust? I hear the word trust and I'm like, oh, okay, that's only for people of a certain means. But I know from our previous conversations, really trust could benefit someone that has a $250,000, $300,000 home, has some other assets, and they need to protect those. So could you talk a little bit about what a trust is and the type of assets you would want or need to actually start one?
Sure. So I equate a trust with a piggy bank where you can put something into the trust. A lot of times people will put their home into trust because that's their most valuable asset. And depending on the type of trust, you can control that piggy bank. You can determine who takes the money out and who can put the money in and who can handle the piggy bank when you can't handle it yourself. So a trust is just a legal document that sets up how that trust is managed. And so you could put money, you could put your home, you can put other assets like stocks into your trust. And so the benefits of a trust, again, it turns on your assets and your objectives, but it could be your assets are significant enough that when they go through probate with a will, you'll be assessed significant probate fees that pre-planning with a trust you can avoid. So anything that is put into trust will then avoid probate. And avoiding probate is a great thing. It may not be great for everybody, but that's not the only reason you might want to use a trust. It goes back to the control.
Yes.
So a trust will also allow you to determine who gets your stuff, how they get their stuff, and when they get your stuff. So those college kids who are 19 now, maybe you pass away when they're 25, they still may not be old enough for home ownership like you would want them to be. So maybe you say, okay, the house is in trust. If I pass away, they can't get the house until they're 30, or until they've graduated from college, or until they have a steady income of their own. You can set whatever mechanisms that you'd like, and that gives you that control for who can get your things and how and when.
Kara, that is great information. Thank you so much. And it's a lot of information, and it's a lot of technical information. So a 3-minute video with our expert is not going to answer all of your questions. Again, what I'm going to do is put Kara's contact information below. If you have some specific questions and you'd want to schedule time to speak with Kara, please reach out to her. She really is a wealth of knowledge, and she has the heart of a teacher, as I say. So feel free to reach out to her. And again, thanks for joining us. And Kara, I really appreciate your time and helping everyone just understand some of these really technical topics that are super important to protecting the assets that we have in our lives. So thank you so much.